Hey, good afternoon, Manchester, New Hampshire, and all the surrounding areas. We did have a guest scheduled to come on.
Yeah,
Remember,
I
we
thought
made
you
it on
will.
the date. Yeah,
You
well,
probably
we're
was a
going to
little
believe
late.
in it.
Yeah.
But if you don't, I invited Gary. But we can do it
Oh,
anyway.
sure.
We'll talk about our babies.
I know,
You know,
huh?
Mary I had the pleasure of buying a chicken for Mary, and well, her cats wanted it more than you did. Am I
They
right?
did. They
Did
did.
all of them line right up there?
They did.
Did
The
let you know
minute
who the
I
boss
walked,
was?
I was telling the minute I walked through it, with chicken was in it, she could smell it. She literally jumped up to grab the bag. Though she got the bag, but she didn't get the chicken.
You got that just in time.
I got it, yes, because she would have
They
had
know-
it. She
yeah,
would
they
have
know
grabbed
how
it and
to.
ran off with it.
Yeah.
So I put it on the table, and I took a picture of her coming on it with her paws and trying to grab the chicken away from me.
Isn't it amazing what they'll do, animals?
And she hollered, and meow, 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 meow. Like saying, I need that chicken, I need it. It's the cutest thing. And when she gets mad, Nom, she puts her ears right straight back, and I'll say, you have to wait. And she'll look at me like, sometimes when a
Dare
person
you,
goes,
right?
how dare you make me wait for this chicken?
Yeah.
Else she'll walk away and go like this, I'm meow. Walk away again, I'm meow.
Yeah.
Like saying, I need that chicken, it's going to make me better.
Right. By the way, folks, we never, you know what, Mary, I was just thinking, we never give Scott, my roommate, enough credit for taking pictures for us.
Yes, he
Scott,
does
we have
a
a new
wonderful
photographer,
job.
and he's been for the last couple of years taking pictures for us. So,
Yeah.
Scott, thank you.
Yes, he does an
and,
excellent job. I mean,
and-
when anybody comes here, he takes pictures of everybody, and they really come out real nice.
Right,
They
and,
really
yeah,
do.
my silent partner, you know what I mean. But
Yes.
keep forgetting it, and
And a good cook.
yeah, yeah, and I taught him the basics.
You did.
Yes. I made a pea soup the other day. I was not impressed with it. I ended up thinking,
Isn't that funny, huh?
oh, yeah. Some days
You can make it one time, and next time, forget it.
I have a couple of French ladies that make it with them, and they think, oh, but I give it to them.
Folks, call 640-3091. I think Norm looks really nice with this hat. What do you
Well,
think?
Thank you. I think I'm going to go out golfing. Want to go golfing?
Yes, why not? Can
Yeah.
I
You ever
take?
play golf?
Yes, miniature golf.
Oh, you never played that?
I've done regular. I had the whole thing to go play golf, but it
Thank you,
wasn't.
Mary, for that.
Yeah.
Yeah. I got this. There's a place called Family Outfitters.
Yes.
And that's where I got this.
Is that the one on Beach Street,
No, it's over on
Maple Street?
2nd Street. Now,
Oh, okay.
We get Family
Okay,
Dollar.
yep.
Okay.
There's
I've
one
actually
with the
bought a
bridge.
lot of stuff in there.
Yeah.
There are some things I can't say, but when you buy used appliances like that, and you don't pay, you know what? I can bring it back and get a return. But $5 or $10. If it helps the people in need, I don't have a problem
Yeah.
with that.
No, me neither. Me
Yeah,
neither.
that's
And
right.
the one over on.
Maple Street.
But yeah,
Save.
I like
Save.
that one.
I've been in there. I had a problem though. One day I went in, went to buy a jacket, and the price tag wasn't tiered. I said, "Well, I'll go find a nut." And the guy who works there literally took it out of my hand. I said, "Can't you go and check to see what it is?" Nope, literally, I haven't been back since. I do not, and I bragged about the Goodwill. I'm sorry, I do not like the Goodwill.
You and I both. Now, I'm not crazy about the Goodwill either. They're so high price,
And they smell.
and it's ridiculous. That's my second one, because, when you get something secondhand, you never know. But I would say when I first moved there, it'd be 6 years coming up, I bought another small microwave. And it's still, once in a while I can hear go, it's ready to go. But hey, for $10, what can you do?
Oh, our roommate, Scott's my roommate, we bought one for $5 at a yard sale. And I learned a lesson. You do not put raw eggs in a microphone.
No. Oh, no.
Oh, my goodness. What a smell. And I thought the door was going to blow off. My roommate said, I just paid $5. I said, Jerry, it's not broke. We'll clean it out. We'll fix it. And then, as luck would have it, luckily I had to go to Walmart to get a new coffee pot.
Yeah, I've done that.
Yeah.
Yeah, in fact, it was on sale. It was, forgot what it was. Anyway, it was half price.
Yeah.
And oh my God, I still got it today.
We go through coffee pots like this, don't we, Mom?
Yeah,
I did differently. I ironed.
No,
Yeah.
you didn't.
Yes, I was tired
Did
afterwards.
you hear that?
I like.
I
You
hate
like to
iron. No,
Well, you bring your stuff out. I'll iron it for
Okay. No, I don't like to iron.
Oh, I love to iron. I think I shot myself.
Wow.
I used to
I
iron
can
all the
if I
time,
need
yeah.
to. But no.
I don't know. I iron my shirts and I used to iron all of. For me, ironing is a relaxation.
Yeah, some people like that.
You know?
To me, I just can't sit there and.
Well, I have my TV here, and I iron. Then I iron. Then I have my dog supervising to make sure I'm doing it right. And then we have Big Boy, our cat, supervising. You know how you have your animals. They have to make sure we're doing it right.
That's like mine. When it's funny. Like when I go out and do my washing, because it's across the hall where I live. So who wants to come with me? Crystal. She wants to make sure what's going on with me. So I said, okay, let's go. Sissy's got to do her washing. So she'll come along and she sits there. And I said, get up there on the table if you want to. So she'll get on the table. So I'm getting my washing ready. And I says, come on, we're all done now. We got to wait. Let's go home. And she'll get down and she'll look back at me like saying, okay, you're not moving.
That's like people, they'll look at it because, well, my cat and dog, okay, my dog made me in the cat park, and I'll look at here comes my cat, and it's so cute. I got to remember to take a picture of it.
That would be
my
cute.
cat and dog are walking together.
Oh, that's
They
cute.
do. They walk around. Oh, they'll walk around into the house together.
That's sweet.
Yeah, my pet peeve is, they fight like cat and dogs. Cat and dogs don't
They don't.
fight?
No,
I'm
I've
not
seen
dog,
mice on top of a cat walking with the dog.
Yeah.
I've
And
seen that.
when our big cat, he'll lay there, the birds will come by. And
You
all
should
that.
see him. He's beautiful.
Yeah. He picked us. We didn't pick him.
Yeah, that's true. That really is true.
And animals, they know.
Yeah.
They know when you're hurt. They know when you're happy. They know when you're sad. They know
Oh,
when,
yes.
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 And if you follow an animal's instinct, you'll be okay. You have a lot of trouble with Facebook, don't you?
I do. Today I don't know, they said it was a scam. I wanted to put out there. I just put another one saying Norm's show and the date and the time, and everything else. But to put out Norm's Community Corner on it, it won't let me do it.
Wow.
They tell me it's a scam.
Wow. I didn't know I was scared, did you?
I know. That's what it tells me. I was telling Scott about that, how they say that.
What it is, there's so many.
Yeah.
And I keep getting these messages to friend somebody who I've already friended.
Yes.
And then I got a porno on there. I'm going, whoa. And I blocked it all off and I called
I just got this one. His name is David Larry. Do not friend this guy. I didn't even know who I went and looked and see who he was. And come to find out, he said Cindy knew him very well. That's why he wanted to friend me. And I asked Cindy about it, General Cindy and Joe. And they said, don't do it. He's nothing but a scam artist, doing it. He said, don't do it. I said, I don't. If I can't see your face, and
I'm not going to do it.
If you don't show where you're from, I'm going to delete you automatically. I will delete you.
I get these guys and they call them, hi, how are you, buddy? Long time, how they've been in the military.
Yeah.
Then they all of a
Yes,
sudden
I
go
get
on
those.
And they want to know if they could store their stuff in my house and all that. And all I need to do is send them $200 or $300 to get $5,000.
Yeah.
That's what I block.
Oh my God, what a scam that is! There's so many scams out there. It's you really, I pity some people. They fall for it. They really
I know
do.
a lady who spent over $10,000.
It's really and then they say about they'll say your cousin or they'll say your grandson's in jail.
Yeah.
We need the money to get them out.
And what I had that happen to me, I said, well, that's strange. I don't have a grandson. Or I'll get to, congratulations, we can lower your credit rating.
Yes.
Yeah. And so I'll play along with them. They'll say, oh, by the way, do you have a special one for masturbation?
I get one tell me I've been to college. They want to help me. I said,
Wasn't
really?
that nice of them?
Isn't that? But you know what I did one time? I had an old card. It was, what do they call those cards? Like a gift card. There was nothing on it. So there's a number on the front like you give. And I says, well, take this card. But I didn't tell them it was a Visa. It was a gift card. So I says, use this card.
Good for you. Hey, I like that. I got to remember that.
Have an old card, folks,
Yeah.
that you get a gift card, and then you're not using it anymore.
Yeah.
And when you get a scam like that, give them that one card. They get nothing.
One person, I get a lot from St. Anselm College.
Really? See, I've only
And
got one.
I call him and I tell him, the IT guy wouldn't, he tried to check it all. He said, I don't know, you're going to have to call your carrier, because he was very polite about it, you know. And then I got another lady, a poor lady, I said, I'm just returning your phone call. And I told her my number now. She said, no, I haven't called you. I said, I got 7 phone calls, because I mark them all down.
Yeah.
And so she's going to call to her carrier.
Yeah.
Folks, you know, I have a lot of fun with them.
Yeah.
I really do,
Yeah.
you know. But when you're sleeping at 2 o'clock in the morning, because that's when you think, oh my God, it's an emergency
know.
or whatever,
Yeah.
you know. And it's like, and then they try to muffle their voice.
And they keep calling you, and with a different number, you know where they're from. And you'll say hello. The minute they hear your voice, they know they got you.
Yeah.
You know, that's how you
And
want.
this, that one is it, that block number there, you can call the 1-800 do
Yeah.
not call list. That's a bunch of garbage.
It
and
is.
they can find a way to get around it.
Yeah. You know, I have an unpublished number. How in the heck do they get an unpublished number that's not in a book and get your cell phone?
That's what they do with me, too. I don't know how they get my cell phone. And my cell phone
I
is my
think
personal number.
because the company sells so many
Oh, yeah.
thousands they give to people, and I
It's a
think it's wrong.
moneymaker
And,
for
and
that,
you're paying for an unpublished number.
Yeah. But people like, well, saying Metro or AT&T or
Yeah.
Jasmine or whatever,
Yeah.
you know, they get paid a lot of money
How
for
true?
them to do that.
Yes. What do you think of the Red Sox?
I'm disappointed.
You know, they did that last year. They were, I think they went 7 games behind.
Yeah.
They were down at the bottom of the barrel, but they came back.
Oh, I believe they're going to come back.
Yeah, oh yeah, they come back. But, you know, I don't know if you see it on there, the Red Sox fan club and all that. And one guy said, I'm going to the Yankees ain't doing any better. But, you know, that's what you call a fair weather friend.
You know, that's it. No matter how bad the Red Sox were, or how
You stick by
on
'em.
the paper, they always filled up the bleachers.
Yeah.
No matter what,
Yes,
you
they
know,
do.
They really do.
They really do.
And that's like when the Brewers are doing well.
Yeah.
But the Celtics, well,
They're not doing bad at all, though. They're going to be in the
there's a lot of
playoffs.
tension between Irvin and the coach.
Yeah, yeah. But they're still, at least they're in the playoffs
Yeah.
coming
Yeah.
up. So they're going to be there. And the
It's hard
Bruins,
to
too.
Yeah.
They're in second place right now. But that's okay.
You know, that TV sports like Channel 51 or 50, they make a lot of money off these sports.
Oh,
Off
yes.
these different sports.
Because they have to pay them and all the commercials that they
Yeah,
have.
that's what they do.
Imagine the money. I would like to have one commercial. Give me the money they have for that one
Oh,
commercial.
yeah. Well, when they had the Super Bowl, my
Oh, my
understanding
God,
is
that's
$22 million for 30 seconds or something
Yeah.
like that. And
Yeah.
then don't these people who watch all these commercials, don't they realize that it comes out of every time you buy a tonic, every time you
Yes.
buy, it all comes out
You
of
buy
that.
beer,
Yeah.
sandwiches, anything. You're paying for that commercial.
And I find it interesting they can advertise alcohol like there's no tomorrow.
Yeah,
But yet you cannot advertise cigarettes.
yeah.
And to me, alcohol is just as deadly as
Well,
cigarettes.
cigarettes, to me, is a little bit worse because of your lungs and people around you.
But
when it
you got
comes to
alcohol
cigarettes.
can kill people while they're
You
driving
know?
too. You know?
Yeah. But cigarettes is even worse
Yeah.
when it's right there and right in front of you, you know?
It was harder for me to give up cigarette smoking than it was alcohol.
Yeah.
And I smoked less years on alcohol. You know. One of the things with Manchester and Mary, I don't know. I think they're going way. We're jumping topics, folks. From one
We're
thing
going
to
from
another.
one thing. If you
Yeah.
got one, call in.
Yeah. They're going way overboard with the homeless people.
I agree with that.
Way overboard.
I agree with that.
And don't you
I really
think?
do.
And you know the people that are home, they enjoy this publicity.
Yes, they do. The more you talk, the worse they're going to get. I'm telling you.
Yeah, they really do.
They're really laughing at you. Some of them. They
You
really
know?
do.
Yeah. I offered a guy, I'm going to give him a couple bucks to help unload my cart into the truck. No. They just want the money to run.
Yeah.
I said no.
Yeah, I'll take the money, but I won't help you.
Yeah. And I thought, at least they'd be paying for it,
Yeah, and like I listened last night with the mayor and the alderman Tuesday night, and one alderman, I disagree with what she's saying, which she likes it or not. I tell it like it is, folks, right?
Yep.
She wants the garbage people to pick up the trash from the homeless. I disagree with that. I don't know about you.
Oh, I do too. Why can't they do it?
Why can't they take it and throw it? I mean, these people, whatever they got in that stuff, how do you know they're not going to get picked by a needle? And you get picked, you can go 8 months testing. Make sure you don't have HIV or something else.
And then test it.
And you're worried and worried and worried. Make sure you don't have it.
Right.
Make sure your family don't catch it.
Isn't it sad? Don't get me wrong, folks. I feel bad for homeless people. But there is so many programs out there. There are programs for the vets, homeless vets. There are programs for young kids. There are programs here. There are programs for there. And now they want to form another committee. This guy, they want him to be like an executive director of the homeless. And my understanding, they want to offer a lot of money for him. Then they're going to have a committee to study it. And half of,
And that committee's going to have to study it.
Yeah, and then they're going to pay a lot of money. We could get education paid, choice of schools. Maybe we could help them, so they don't, if your children are homeless and they go to school,
I pity the kids.
Find a place, then I think they belong in like a group home or a foster home.
Yeah.
Don't, because they had no
You got to take care of these kids on the street.
And the adults, they choose to do the drugs, not you and I.
You're right.
You're one time, I might say, well, he's mentally ill, so he can't. But you know what? They're in group homes.
Not only that, they have them what they call crazy like a fox.
Yeah.
Okay? I know, because I had family that did that. One guy,
you and I know
Frankie.
Yeah,
You know
Frankie,
who Frankie
good
is.
guy.
He was crazy like a fox, and he knew how to play the system like you would not believe. And he played it. He played it until he died, and he was young when he died. But he got everything what he wanted, because like he said to us, he says, why should I have to work? I get everything I want. They think I'm crazy. So I'm going to play the part that I'm crazy.
And he got good money.
Yes. And it happened to me, Norm. And I won't play their games either. I went to the city and asked them before I moved to where I'm at. And I says to him, I went behind on my rent, $150 now. I went behind. I didn't have enough for my full rent. And I asked him if I'd pay you back. You know what they said to me? You got a car? Get rid of it. You got life insurance? Get rid of it. You got a phone? Get rid of it. Get rid of everything that you have. I said, in other words, I have nothing sitting there. How about a radio? Well, if it's expensive, get rid of it. So I says to her, do you have a TV? Yes. Do you have a car? Yes. Then why are you asking me to get rid of everything for $150?
There's a woman that I know, a man and a woman that I know went to get help from the state welfare, what do they call it? And just to get medication. They literally had to sign their house over to the state.
Yeah.
For 2 weeks, they helped them, and they paid them and all that, and they had to sign. The state would not allow them to have their house back.
Yeah. You have to watch out of the writing when you do that.
Yeah. And one time, Scott died like 15 years ago. When he first got laid off, we gave him a paper that had the welfare pay his half of the rent.
Yeah.
And they're going to lock me up for fraud.
See? But you have to play. You have to play. And she says to me, Norm, are you sure you don't need a psychiatrist? Maybe you might need a psychiatrist. I said, what are you talking about? She goes, do you need help? Do you feel depressed? I think the way you sound, you need a psychiatrist. In other words, I says to her, you're trying to say I'm crazy. If I say I'm crazy, you're going to help me.
Right. Isn't that ridiculous?
And then she says, if you do that, we can help you. How do you like that, folks?
Well, my daughter-in-law, many years ago, 20 years ago,
I won't do it.
Help. because my son was laid off, so they went down to get help to get, like, what do they call it, food stamps.
Yeah.
They told her, they asked, first of all, they asked her if she spoke Spanish. She said no. Oh. Then they told her if she went job hunting and had my granddaughter out for a to be at a babysitter, like a daycare,
Yeah.
they would help her. It would have cost us more for her to go to daycare. I said,
Yeah.
I'll take care of her.
Yeah.
But no, so, it's not, if you need the help, believe me, it's not for lower income people.
No, you're
It's
right.
for the low class who can lie, cheat, and steal and get. And I'm not saying not, I'm not going to say that all these
Not
people
everybody's
that get help,
doing it. A lot of people out there
they
need help.
And I
agree
won't
with
do
that.
that. But when I see a woman that stands there bragging in the park, how she got her nails done for $200, she had her hair done for another $200.
They have an expensive. I mean, how can they?
New car.
I mean, they have a phone. It's probably $1,000 phone. How can they afford something like that instead of having a flip phone?
My phone
case
cost me
emergency.
$60.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I mean, these have the good ones. They're not cheap.
No.
One guy said, "Oh, look what I got, $900." I'm going, "Oh my God, how in the heck can you afford that?"
Because we don't, we're too honest.
There you go.
I had a guy that used to be my friend on Facebook. He said, well, you shouldn't be complaining. You're getting food stamps, you're getting Section 8, I'm getting medical and all. I go, wow, I didn't know. Did you know I was getting all that?
No, me too. They said I don't get nothing, folks.
I don't
pay
either.
my own bills
Every
too.
penny I get, I earn.
Yeah, I pay. I do not. One time I did go for that, and you know what they wanted to give me for 3 months? $10 for
Wow.
3 months for food stamps. As you tell me where food stamps go for 3 months,
Well,
and as you can take it and shove it where it don't hurt.
for the hell of it, I
Walked
tried
out.
to get, just see what me like. I made $10 too much on one Medicaid. Is that what they call it, the state Medicaid?
Yeah,
And I made $25 too much for the food stamp program.
yeah. I
So-
called up for something.
Yeah.
See if I could get help with my insulin.
Yeah.
I make $35. What they want.
Isn't that ridiculous?
$35, and I'm almost about to lose my doctor because of what's going on right now with the insurance. And I've had her over 10 years.
See, that's so wrong. That's why I believe in
I won't
universal
go. I don't
medicine.
care. I won't go to these doctors. They're called city doctors, and you can only see them. I think it's every 4 months. If you have a condition, if you don't, it's every once a year or every 6. I forgot. My cousin's got one like that, and she tries to get a hold of her. You can't. She won't get back to you. It takes 3 months for her to get back to you, a doctor. So you think I want a doctor like that I can't get a hold of?
And that's like, did you know that when you have your insurance, we'll say, and like you go to the doctors, like in Dartmouth, and you go and they have a checkup, and you haven't heard from them in 3-4 days, and you call them to find out what's going on, that is considered an office visit, and you have to pay for it.
Yeah. I mean, it's getting to the point you can call a doctor and say, I need my medicine. They charge you for that,
They absolutely do.
and say, how much you going to get your medicine if the prescription runs out, and you call up and say, I need this one's going out and this one I need whatever. They charge you.
Yeah, I can't afford I have the insurance for the Social Security, but I can't afford to have that
Yeah.
931. And if you guys have the same problem we do, give us a call at 640-310-90.
Yep.
Yeah. No, 3091.
Yep.
See that? I'm so dizzy, But I'll tell you, this country, this city, this state are going down the tubes, and they're going down quickly.
Yeah.
Why
Something has to be done.
don't we just leave the anti-gun alone, and start working for better education?
Yeah.
Where's all this money going to from the Powerball, the mega bucks, that do what they want, a Keno, is that what it's called?
I don't believe in Keno.
No, but if the kids want to do, it's supposed to help for the kindergarten. Doesn't make any sense. Where
No.
the hell is all that money going?
No. I don't believe in Keno. Because most of the time you have to be there when it does.
Yeah.
So it's like if you get a megabucks lease, you don't have to be there. You get it on TV. But Keno, you have to be there.
Yeah.
for the numbers.
Why not just legalize gambling? Get it out of the
It's
way.
it. Bring in a casino because they want to come in from Connecticut. The Indians want to come up here and put one up here.
I think down in Hampton Beach would be a good location.
Yeah.
And one up north.
Yep.
You know.
Let them come in.
You know,
I mean,
yeah. They've already got Keno. They've already got megabucks.
The revenue you will get from that, it's unreal.
Then everybody says, well, the mafia will
No,
come in.
no,
No, this will come in. Well, my husband will spend all his money on booze, on the gambling.
Look at
they
the new
spend
one
it already.
the new one they just opened up in
Yeah.
Massachusetts. They opened up two of them. And now there's one going to be over by the North Shore. No, not the North Shore, but over by the airport area. There's another one that's going to be there, another casino for Massachusetts.
Why not build one here? Bring on people in here. We get a lot of them from
Because
Canada.
everybody is going down, and they're heading south, or they're heading out to Maine to the casino up there.
You know, I don't understand why New Hampshire is so far behind.
Yeah.
And I'm blaming both parties. Not
Yeah,
just one.
I blame both.
Yeah.
Republican and Democrat both.
Yeah.
They need to step up New Hampshire. New Hampshire has to come in to the future. We don't want to stand back
Right.
where we are
You know
now.
what I find interesting is that when they were going to have this racetrack, when in Salem, no, when was it going to have that big racetrack?
Oh, you mean the one up in Loudon?
No, horse track.
Oh, that one's over.
Now it's in Compton.
Oh, that was in Salem.
Was it in
Yeah,
Salem, the
that
big
was in
racetrack?
Salem. Yeah,
okay.
they took that one out.
Yeah, now it's a big condo. See, they knew that once that dog track went out and the horse track went, they knew that there's going to be $1 billion complex in there. So they all
And
knew.
it's too bad because that one there has been there for years and years. It's so well known.
Is his still open?
As far as I know, they are. Yeah, I think they are.
I went there one time. I will never forget it. I was 18 years old. And of course, back in the, drinking up a drink, pretty well. and I won. I won a lot of money out of it. And nobody else had any money, and I forgot I had it. They said, "Didn't you win?" I go, "No." So yeah, I did. So we ran out of gas. Luckily, I had the money, so we had to fill the tank up. But you know what? Back in the day, nobody shot anybody.
No.
You know?
I did up in the one in Vermont. I think I was in Vermont. You just go across, and we went over there to the horse track that time. And I said to Addie, I'm going to play Poor Elvis. Just for the heck of it. And I did, and I won on Poor Elvis. And it was just, I just went, one said it was going to, the trifecta.
Yeah.
You had to pick your three. And this one here said only 8-1 or something. It was, the horses wasn't even supposed to come in. I picked all three of them that wasn't supposed to come in, and they did come in.
So you had a happy payday.
I did that day, yes.
I don't believe in horse racing or dog racing to begin with, because and I know if they don't make
They
enough
can
money,
hold the
they
horse
kill
back.
them. Yeah.
They can hold the horse
Yeah.
back.
And not only that, but they kill them if they don't win.
Yeah. And it's too bad what they do to animals, especially the Great Danes. They are such beautiful animals. I wish I could have one. They're so gentle.
Is it the Great Danes?
Yeah,
Is it?
they're Great
They're
Danes.
beautiful and gentle.
They're racing
Very
dogs.
yeah. Yeah. I have some friends that adopted like 4 of them.
Yeah.
Boy,
They're-
can that dog
They're
run.
so good. I mean, they don't eat much for a big dog. They really don't. But I know someone who's got 2 of them. You couldn't ask for nicer dogs.
But they'll run if you don't keep an eye on them.
Yeah, because that's what they know to do, is run.
And this one guy has 4 of them, and he says, he has 4.5 acres of land. He literally had to go and fence his property because they'll run.
Yeah, they will run.
They will run and run.
Because they
and
know
run.
nothing
No,
else.
no, You know.
The poor
To
thing.
me, I think it's cruelty. I was looking on Facebook where these 2 guys in Alaska thought they were really great. They killed the mother of the cubs.
Yes, I saw that
saw
one.
that?
I did.
I usually don't watch that stuff. I usually block
I
it out.
delete it.
Yeah, because I can't
I
handle
get rid of
or
it. I
watching
can't
a Chinese
stand it.
guy beat the dogs to death or whatever. No.
Anything like that, I will delete it.
Yeah,
I don't know how I get it. I don't know, but I will delete you folks if you put anything like that on.
I put on
with
high.
me.
Yeah, I can't understand why they would do it.
I can't stand anybody hurting an animal.
And there again, like
Any
they had
kind.
this, save the animals or save like the gym. all that money they had for like the Jimmy Fund, the St. Jude's Hospital, all that. How many millions of dollars do you think it cost them to put that on
Yeah.
national TV?
Yeah.
When that millions of dollars could go to helping the children.
Yeah. Yeah. They do. I mean, every time you turn around, there's commercials for all of them.
Yeah. Say with American Cancer Society, instead of worrying about having all this on, why
Or
not
finding
just put on
something to help.
Yeah. And then I believe there's a lot more out there, Mary, that is curable, but we can't afford it.
Yeah.
I saw when the drug
I
industry.
agree with that one.
$9 billion they made in profit last year.
Yeah.
$9 billion or $1 trillion was on Facebook.
It's
If you're watching, you got any comments you can agree with or not agree with? If you're a druggist and you don't like what we're saying, come and yell at us. We don't care.
Please do. Oh,
Yeah.
we do. Hi there, Norm's Community Corner. What can we do?
Hi, big fan of your show. You guys are talking about all the different money and what have you that should be going to the homeless, and I couldn't agree more. And the other day when I saw the mayor breaking ground for the new hotel, the multi-million-dollar hotel, I guess what's going on downtown.
Right.
Yeah.
To take a small portion of that multi-million, $500,000 or whatever, build reasonable shelter/housing for the homeless with a good training program that goes along with it.
You're right.
But no, we're going to dump millions of dollars. I could only imagine how much that project costs. And there's the mayor, big smile on her face.
Yeah.
So I just really appreciate your show and keep up the good work. Bye-bye.
Thank you.
Thank
Bye-bye.
you.
I actually agree with that guy. I never thought about that. Some of these hotels, they're breaking ground.
Yeah.
He's right. Why couldn't we get some property, build these small houses? I think that's what they're called, right? The little
Teeny
houses.
houses.
I'm sorry?
A teeny house.
Teeny houses. Why couldn't we get some property, like that homo jungle, then clean it all out, and have, sir, I agree with you.
Yeah,
but why
I agree with
can't
you,
we,
sir.
Have like a training program. If they don't want to fall the roof, they don't need to be there.
Yep.
Okay?
And you know something else?
I like that.
Canada does it. And where's the other one that's doing it? Montana. I'm trying to think where the other ones are doing it. They're taking the old, what do you call them? Boxes. They storage, the
Right,
storage boxes.
yeah.
Those there. They're taking those and lining them up. They have guys, just taking and, cut out windows, put windows in it. Why can't they use that for the homeless?
They could.
And they're only throwing them away.
I can't remember the town here in New Hampshire that this man had 24 acres of land. Then he was going to build a bunch of those tiny houses for the vets, the homeless vets or whatever. Oh, no. The city forefathers and the richest people would not allow him to.
How true.
Oh, we can't have them on our street. We can't have them because they'll be embarrassing. You know what? No, they're not embarrassing. I am thrilled. I put a lot of comments on Facebook, as you know.
Yeah.
I'm always honored when I can go and talk to someone, as long as they don't turn on me or something like that.
Yeah.
But I'm always honored when I can go and sit down and talk with them, or maybe I'll bring them a coffee. And I'm not looking for a pat on the back.
No.
You don't either.
No.
You know.
No. If I can help you, I will.
I've had many of them come. We've taken meals too and all that, because they are human.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay, they are human. They've had their ups, they've had their downs, and we don't see a whole lot of people at our park. We really don't.
Yeah. Well, my way, you don't see much out there where I live over off on 3A.
Yeah. And, we actually have a pretty nice park over there.
Yeah.
Okay, Sweetie Park, I think it's called.
Yeah, I think it's what's
And they're doing a lot of work on the city is really doing some. But and he's right. Why can't we take a portion of these parks and have them supervised, of course?
But then that will cost money if they did that, unless they had a volunteer.
Well, it might not go in somebody's pocket. I shouldn't say that because I make it up.
I thought would be, to me, it would they're not using that park at all. And that's down over by Notre Dame area, the Notre Dame Bridge.
Oh, yeah.
Or down over by Queen City Ave underneath,
Yeah.
over there. Why couldn't they set up something over there? I mean, nobody's using that part underneath the bridge.
You know,
Near
because the mayor and the city alderman are embarrassed by the homeless people. But
Well-
over there, that would be good because they wouldn't be in the, you know.
Yeah, would be down off from Bedford Street.
Right. I like that idea. Have that
One area.
one area there. I like that one. He's talked about. I
And
think
that would
that's
get
very
them off
awesome,
from Elm
having
Street.
having a training guy come in and train these people. If I ever won the Powerball, that's what I would do.
Because something's got to be done.
You know, I'm not. You know, they don't. You know, once you get into drugs, then your life is destroyed.
Yeah.
I haven't cried, but I also, Mary, I never realized how many women that are drug addicts
Oh, yeah.
until they
That's-
start coming. You don't hear about the women like you do
Oh,
the
yes,
men.
it's
But
out there.
in my office, I do. I have some that come in. And by the way, you're going to be making some of your homemade beans, and I'm going to have
Yep,
a
I am.
celebration, and we're going to have it at my house. We're going to invite the people that I work with.
Been invited. I cannot say who the restaurant is.
No, that's fine.
I was invited to make beans. And I says, well, you got to call them. I don't care, one way or another. But one of them says, our homemade beans. It's not theirs. How can they claim it's theirs?
You can't.
They can't. When I'm making them, they're going to claim their chef is making the beans.
No, that's false advertising.
Yes, it is. And I won't make them
No.
for that. I don't care. Don't put our. Just say donate it. I don't care. You can say
Well,
donate.
yeah.
But
It
don't
was made
say
by an anonymous bean maker.
yes. But don't put our own
'Cause it's not.
beans, and it's not. So
You'd
I
be
won't-
amazed
I
at how
won't-
many restaurants do that, though.
Yeah, and I won't do it.
Yeah.
I
Do
already
you like
won't.
Greek chicken soup?
Yes.
I do too. We went to Theo's. I ordered a
Lemon. The
big
lemon.
Yeah,
The lemon, yeah.
I went to Theo's, and I got a big quart of it. Scott and I didn't take long for us to eat it up.
Yeah.
It was
I love
really
Greek
good.
food.
Yeah.
I really do. I really do enjoy
I
all
like all food,
national.
yeah.
I like all nationalities.
I like food, period. You know,
We
that's my
love
problem.
food. Yeah, me too.
You know,
I gained a little bit of weight.
yeah.
I'm back
We
up
got
to
some
150.
ham from Market Basket, and we put it in a rotisserie. Oh my gosh, it come out so good.
Yeah.
When my dog, if she don't eat it, then I think there's something wrong. You know,
Yeah.
that she's doing well. But I think that, you know, Scott made a meat pie,
Ooh.
and it come out. Next time we make one, we'll let you have
Ooh.
some. Can you make meat pie with chicken? I would assume you could.
You can make anything.
What is it like?
You really
You
can.
should be
You
creative.
really can. You can really do anything
Yeah.
in a pie.
All you got to do is be creative.
Yeah.
You know, that's all you got to
Yeah.
do. Create your mind, and you can cook anything you want to do. And I would like to get a bunch of volunteers sometime, like once a month, go into the park where I am, and have a table
That would be nice.
and set up like a brunch or something
yeah.
like that.
Or even like a little potluck.
Yeah, potluck.
Have everybody bring something.
Yeah.
You never know, like from nationalities would bring their
Yeah.
stuff in. That would
You
be
know,
nice.
I want to check with the city and see what I have to do on that. You know, people
Yeah.
want to volunteer, bring in beans, and have the politicians come and talk to their platform and stuff like that.
That would be nice,
I
yes.
think that would be that part's
Yes.
big enough.
And have them, talk to the people.
Yeah,
Let
talk to
people
the
get
aldermen
know.
from all three.
Let people know who you are.
Right.
And let them ask you questions. Maybe questions you don't want to be asked.
I
but
like
that's what
doing
that's
that,
why you're
yeah.
there for.
I did
Maybe
that
ask.
to Kelly Aguilar. Boy, I was shuffled right out of there. And they caught me on TV because I said, isn't it kind of morbid that you would use the police officer that got killed? What was his
Oh,
name?
Briggs?
Briggs,
Officer
Briggs.
yeah.
As a platform for you running for state senate? To me, that's morbid.
Yeah. And his name should never be brought up.
Not that way.
No.
And she said, well, the family gave you
You didn't-
permission. I said, but that's
but
not
it's
fair.
no, it's not fair to the family. Even though they could say yes to it, I never would have done that.
And
for
one
running
of
for
the
anything.
people who I know real well, one of her supporters said, why are you asking questions like that? I said, why not?
It needs to be asked. It
And
needs to
do
be asked,
not,
folks.
one thing, do not be afraid to ask your Congress, the people that are running for
Yeah.
Congress, Senate,
That
governor, or
it
whatever.
needs to be asked.
Ask them the hard questions and make sure that they don't wish around it. This is what I like about my show.
Yeah.
You and I
Yeah,
are not
yeah.
afraid to ask the hard questions.
No, I'm not afraid to ask him.
Now, one thing I like about Gary Hopper and John Burton, they ask him. And Tim Baines, I got to get
Yeah.
him back on, too. And what was his name? Your awardman.
Hirschman.
Henchman. He's
Yeah.
not afraid to answer them either.
Yeah.
Okay. When I find it interesting that I got told by one of the state legislators that because I didn't vote, and I said, how the hell does she know? You know, when I found out she said that I don't have any right to complain, whether I vote or not.
You
I'm
still
gonna complain.
like
Doesn't
you
Freedom
was
of
you was in
Amendment-
the ER at the time
Yeah.
the
Yeah.
time of the voting.
Yeah.
So they cannot complain about that.
Right.
You being in the hospital.
Because I never missed a vote.
No.
But I will continue to vote. When I hear how it's okay to have children aborted, that bothers me.
Yeah.
When I hear how they're going to sacrifice education, that bothers
Yeah.
me. When I hear about how let's leave the gun rights alone when they should be. The only one, I don't know why the Democrats are so afraid in New Hampshire of the they want to take away the Second Amendment rights. That's actually adding more fuel to the bandits.
They don't want to take your rights away. They just want, like
You know
I
what?
would
You
want.
kill 1,000.
They want to make sure when you go for a gun, they want to make sure you make that.
Oh,
pay.
they do that.
It
They already
doesn't
done that.
slip under the table, as
Yeah,
they say.
yeah,
You
yeah.
know.
Well, my son had to wait, I think, 3 to 7 days
Yeah.
then.
Yeah,
and
it
they
should be
still
that
do.
way. Yeah.
But I think as you take away the gun rights of people, you're actually
I
violating
don't think they
something.
can do that.
No, they're
I mean,
trying.
you've done nothing to deserve to have your guns taken away from you.
But what,
Leave you
and
alone.
my concern is what happens with does that mean the police who work as a security or what do they call it, officers in the school, then that means they have to not have their guns there too.
Yeah.
Or in the library.
Yeah.
You know. So what happens if a mass murderer wants to go in and kill them?
That happened a few years back, where a father got mad at the mother
Yeah.
and
Oh,
shot.
yeah, over by Hallsville School.
No, right over here at the YMCA,
Oh, I mean, they
where
also
he
have one
went
at Hallsville.
and
yeah.
shot his
Killed-
own
killed his-
son. Didn't I
killed
guess
his
he
children,
should?
yeah.
Uh,
That, and you know what? I kind of blame the staff for not having a metal detector.
yeah, 'cause it wasn't working.
Right, and I kind of blame it. And that people were not supervising them.
Yeah.
You know, I kind of blame the staff there.
You know, Norm, it's sad. It really is. When a mother and father, they're fighting over their kids. I mean, the father, if he's good, let him see his kids. If he's not doing his job, and he sees them maybe once, it depends. If he's sick, or if he's out of town working, and that's the only time he can see his child when he does come back into town, let him see his child. But if he's only there in name only, get him out.
You know,
And that goes for the woman too.
I know a man who has very faithfully paid his child support. In fact, he's like $7,000 ahead in child support.
Good.
And the wife has lied so much to the courts that he can only see his children periodically. And a little girl is dying of cancer.
Oh my goodness. See, that's what I mean.
And they don't make her before she with that. And the sad part is she hadn't been to school in 2 or 3 years. And I said that they should get a tutor to come in.
Yeah.
Because all she's doing is hiding in her room.
Yeah. They should be doing something for that poor kid. And,
Yeah.
and the
And-
mothers, I say the same thing about the mothers.
Yep.
If you can't be there for your child, you're only there because, you're off with your boyfriend somewhere, and you see your child once in a great while, keep away from the kid. Why torture these poor kids?
Yeah. And one thing I have a problem with, and the state says it's okay that they can do it, when you pay child support, some of that money should actually go to the child
Yeah.
and not to the boyfriend, not to the boyfriend's
Yeah,
daughter.
you're right.
not to-
You're
and,
solely
And they
right.
say, well, they need to help pay rent. No, that's not the child. So actually, the child would pay the rent for the mother and her boyfriend, and like that. I'm sorry, I have a problem with that.
Yeah.
If I ran, which I'm going to be running for state rep, I'm pretty sure.
Good.
One of the things
I
I
am
would put
too.
down, one of the things I'm going to put down is I want to see that the children get the money,
Yeah.
not the parents. That way, the child can go get new shoes if they need
It
them.
should be a,
Special bank account.
yes, and like a card with the kid's name in only should be able to use that card. Not the mother say, I'm going to go there and get stuff, or who knows where she's going to go with that. But where the kid has to be there and picks out, you keep the receipt and go back to the state. Say this is, and have the kid sign and have his picture taken that day. Because if you don't, it's going to end up somewhere else.
Well, they had a woman that lived out near where I said, my car was bought by alimony and my child
Oh,
support.
sure. Some houses are too.
Alimony and child support. Well, and what I don't like is when I see these children that are running around with hot dog and hamburgers while the mother and the boyfriend buy pride
Eat
steak
steak.
and all that.
Yep. Yep.
I'm sorry.
Oops, sorry.
I'm sorry. The management in this state, I have no idea why we're talking like this. The spirit's talking to us, right? And I guess John isn't going to make it. I'll let him know
Yeah.
I'm not too happy. What I don't like
But that's
is
okay. Somebody else can call and join in on what we're talking about.
anytime, like that guy did.
Yeah.
And in Massachusetts, that if a person gets food stamps, they can actually go to McDonald's and get food, a
Yeah,
meal. And
that's
I think
wrong.
that's okay.
But
And I'll tell you why I say that. Because if they're getting food stamps, we know, and they go to McDonald's to get food, then we know they're eating.
that's $5 to $10 or $15 you're spending on one meal.
Right.
They can buy food, buy
But if the-
potatoes.
yeah. But
'Cause-
if they're
'cause
homeless,
if they're homeless, you don't give them a card.
well, you're right.
Yes.
You're tough.
Yes, you
She's
have
so
to.
meaning.
Yes.
Well, don't you have to have an address in order to get?
Yeah.
I don't know, but don't you have to have?
But it's the idea. some stores will do it. I know they do it. Will say they got food. So what they spent on food, they take it and they get their beer
Yeah, yep.
instead.
I stood there one time. I'm talking several years ago. And I watched this young man. They charge you a little more money. I watched this young man buy a carton of cigarettes and a case of beer.
Because they scan something else, make it
And
look
I made
like
an
it.
anonymous phone call.
Yes.
And I remember when they had the pull-out one.
Yeah.
You could buy, like, say somebody has $120 worth. You can buy it for $60. I know.
Oh,
did.
yeah. Yes. You see it all the time when they had the stamp. Hey, I'll give you $60, and they maybe would have $200 in
Yeah,
stamps.
yeah. One time I had two homeless people living with me. And
I had an uncle, and I'm not afraid to say it. I had family who did that. I had an uncle that did that.
And I come home one day, and I said, well, because the next day was payday, so I was going to go food shopping. I come home, and all my cupboards were full of food and meat, and I said, what happened? Couldn't find out. These few people that were staying with me went up and down the street, and they were taking the thing to food.
Yeah, because my uncle used to say, he'd go down, he used to love to sit in front of City Hall all the time, my aunt. And a guy would come along, and they knew my uncle, and he would say, hey, what do you give me for these? It was 200, and when my uncle would say, hey, I just bought 200 some odd dollars in stamps for $60.
I like
There
the
you
card
go.
better, because now
Yes.
they can't.
Yes.
I mean, they can if they go to the store with them. And,
Certain stores.
yeah.
But if you go like Hannaford's or maybe Market Basket, they won't let you.
No.
But little side stores will do
Oh, yeah,
it.
because they need the money.
Yeah. Yeah.
And you're not in there from another country, so they, it doesn't matter.
Yep. How
Um,
true.
Yeah.
How true.
This country, if you're honest, don't expect to get anything.
No.
If you're dishonest, you can get the world. I remember a guy going and applying
That
for
is true.
for Social Security disability, and his name was Barry. I don't remember what. And he actually went up with his son's bicycle. This is how naive the psychologist was. You want to see my Harley Davidson? The guy said, okay. He went up. This is my house. So he automatically got the Social Security disability. Come back laughing with me. Literally.
Well, was you with me that day? That we come up Elm Street to the show, and there was a guy on a bike that had a what do you call it, with the red N on the cane for being a blind
A
person.
blind person, yeah.
And riding a bike.
Yeah,
Tell
yeah,
me,
I remember that.
how can he ride a bike and be blind at the same time?
Well, if they're nearsighted, they can. You know, they
But
can have a
it's-
little bit of vision. Because I had a cane and
But still, you
it makes you
can
wonder.
you wonder about something like that.
Well,
how
I
they
got
do
accused
it.
when I went blind before I had my operation. I got accused of doing a hit and run. I didn't even own a car and didn't have my driver's license. The officer was really quite mean.
Yeah, and they should until you're proven. The old saying out there: until you're proven guilty.
Well, you're guilty until you have to prove yourself innocent,
You know,
unless you're a politician.
but
Yeah.
it's.
I think the sad part, I love Manchester, but I look at it deteriorating.
I've been here
I'm actually glad.
over 60 years here.
I'm glad I live on the west side. We don't get the police in there like we should have, but that's okay.
Yeah.
I live in a good area. They leave me alone. I leave them alone. The sad part is we got the park fixed up. It looks great. Now they're going to take away that mobile home there, that trailer park.
Yeah.
But I think it's a waste of money to do it. Why not?
Give it to somebody or let
Yeah.
somebody bid on it.
Yeah, I don't. Yeah. Why not put it into a community recreation center?
But if some kids may be after school,
Yeah, programs.
let them go in there with their papers and stuff like that. But if they got their own, most of them always have their own computers. But I wouldn't advise anybody putting computers in there.
Oh no, they find a way to.
They'll take them quicker. But if you got your own computer, that'd be a good place for the kids.
And have a little. That way they can have a snack. And
Yeah.
have a little meal and do their
That
homework.
would be nice.
Yeah. I have watched in the park for the last 3 or 4 summers. I watched the kids playing basketball, adults as well.
Yeah.
You know what? They don't look at the color. They don't look at the
No.
skin. They
Isn't that true? That is true, Norm, what you're saying. It really is, because kids who play basketball, they don't care what color you could be. Like I said last week, you could be purple. They don't care.
But they play rough basketball too. They really do. I was watching it one time, and then one tall, skinny guy, these people from these black brothers, they were pushing him around. Like, you know what? He kept, because they try to say, a lot of times they'll say they don't want white people in that park. And I've heard it more than once. And they say, what are these guys doing? I said, they're playing like you are. And I said, taxpayers are white too.
Yeah.
They pay tax. But they play, and they really get rough.
They do.
I've seen, not a fight, but close to it.
Yeah. I've seen times when I used to play street hockey. And I played hockey. I played it all. I played all kind of sports. And I've seen them come after me. I was the only girl on that team. And they figure, I didn't weigh very much back then, let me tell you. If I weighed 110, I did good back then. But they would come after me like you wouldn't believe.
And you stood your ground.
I stood my ground.
I was too much of a princess.
I would go automatically. I would let the puck go by me, and they come after, and I get them. I nail them, and they would look at me like,
I didn't know you were supposed to drop the bat when you ran, if you hit the ball. So I'm running down the wall. I didn't know, but there's one guy who was always bullying me. So I had the bat in my hand. I'm running down with it, swinging, and the guy somehow the bat hit him in the head. Then they left me alone after that. I wasn't selected to play on any team, but I was very good at volleyball.
yeah. No. I played baseball. I was 2 different teams. I had my name on 2 different trophies for the winning pitcher and everything. So, no, I liked that. I played hockey. I've done NASCAR. You name it, I've done it. I've done it out there.
Yeah. I wasn't into the, even growing up as a kid. What I really hated, I had such a bad childhood. I had this happen. I know that happened. You know
Grow
what?
up.
That's what I said. Well, and this and all that. Grow up, people. You didn't have an easy childhood.
No, I didn't.
I didn't either.
No, I don't think
I had to
anybody
bring my
had
own
back
firewood in. I had to chop trees down. I had to.
I had to chop wood. I had to go out and get. Oh, he's here.
No.
Oh, okay. He finally made it. He made it.
Oh boy. That me get on the microphone.
Ah.
Today wasn't a good day.
Oh, I'm sorry.
It's not at the VA, so.
Oh, I'm sorry. Oh,
I have some books with me.
oh, okay.
But
Ladies
here
and
I
gentlemen,
am coming in the middle.
Better late than ever. We have
Oh.
the famous John Hopwood.
Infamous.
Infamous John Hopwood. The troublemaker, the excitable person who's not afraid to tell it like it is.
Well, I guess I am now. I was just thinking, I was dealing too. I have to deal with writer's block, and I've never had it before.
That means you're intelligent.
It means I'm afraid. I'm afraid of writing because of what happened to me. I might be afraid of me what happened the last time I wrote something. Not even under my own name.
You know, that as long as you carry that fear, it's going to block you.
Yeah, I had to deal with that. I'm trying to deal with it today because I sit down.
Did Matt text
What
you?
a day. Yeah, he did. And it's
Yeah.
like some days I don't even. It's Boston. It's probably the
I
VA.
even Facebooked you.
Facebook. I don't like to go on Facebook.
Oh.
I think it's
Your
got
light is
bad
on.
energy.
Yeah.
Uh-oh, somebody's listening to me now.
Your light is
Let's
on.
turn this off.
You got your light on.
It's one of those days,
We were talking, John, previously when you came in about our childhood, number one. We were spitting all around, and about the homeless people.
Homeless, yeah.
I think they're going way, my feelings are they're going way overboard with it.
What do you mean overboard? Reacting against the homeless?
No, I think they want to set up all these programs, like, let's do a Gestapo type programming. We'll have, like, if half the people that are homeless do not want to go into their programs.
They don't want to go into a homeless shelter, yeah.
Right, and they don't, no, definitely not. And one guy called, and I agreed with him. He says, let's set up a community center, like a building where they can sleep, and have a teacher or a teacher come and train them occupations. The other day, I offered this guy $2 to help me put the packet of groceries in the trunk.
Yeah.
Oh, no, I can't do that. But he had his hand out for the money, But I think now, don't get me wrong, I feel bad for the homeless. I was homeless, so I could feel bad.
Yeah,
But
I've
you can
faced
be-
homelessness, and
But you
I might
can
be
build
facing
this
it again. Yeah.
No, not you.
But
So you're determined.
I don't know. I'm not determined.
I want
I'm
to
coming back.
apologize. Yeah, I want to apologize for the loss of your friend.
Yeah, that's, I actually brought in Mr. Baseball Pass, which is
Yeah.
a shock. I got this book for him, Back in the Saddle Again, Gene Autry, signed by, I thought it was signed by Gene Autry. But, then he was just gone. He was going to come back on the show. He was such a good friend.
Yeah. The spirit sometimes says, that prolonged suffering, let's go on the other way.
Yeah, but still,
Oh, yeah. I'm not going to say it takes a place. I'm so proud of myself. I just found another missing person.
Did you?
How's that?
There was a gentleman that was in Texas, and I got a call for him, and we found out where he was slain. I don't like finding the dead people, but you know what?
Man,
if it brings comfort to them and they know, and come find out there was a guy, and it wasn't an illegal immigrant either, people. It was his wife that killed him. Over.
Well, that's grim too.
Yeah, but over. Isn't it sad what money will do to people?
Oh, people are.
So when are you going to run for alderman?
Nothing drives people more than money, I think, and it's.
Yeah. So when you're going to run for alderman?
I was thinking of it, but no.
We'll run together. What ward are you in?
I was thinking at large.
There you go. Yeah, go.
There's a certain person that needs to be. Probably both of them need to be off the board.
No, I think both of them.
Yeah, I think at large just didn't work out. If you read when they were considering putting that in the charter, like Bob Baines and other people, it's just, and nobody even ran against the at-large people. Both things last time. That's not democracy.
No, yeah. No, it's not. The one of the Ward 3 has a great alderman.
Tim Baines.
Pat Long was good.
And I think he's going to be I would say Pat Long's probably going to run again against Tim Baines. Maybe Tim Baines should think of running at large.
I think he's going to run for mayor.
No, not this time.
Not
but he'll
time.
be mayor someday.
Oh, yeah. Well, he came on the show, and I'll tell you, Mary and I had a lot of respect for him.
Oh, yeah.
He tells it like it is.
Yeah, he's a great guy.
And I like Bill Berry. And I like Keith Hirschman. The other guys won't come on my show. I think they're afraid of me.
I know. Would you want certain people on the show?
Sure. So I can slam them.
Oh man,
No, I
putting
show
you and
respect.
Joe Lavasser on the same show,
Joe,
that would be like everything would start coming
Joe and I
down,
don't
you
like
know?
each other that well, and that's okay. But I got to say, I went and had breakfast at his new. He redid the whole thing. It was
Oh,
really
Theo's has
nice.
been redone.
And I got to say, we went in and had breakfast. It was awesome. Diane was great. The food was awesome. I had an omelet, which is I kind of tried to be a vegetarian, and I had a
Try to be.
yeah.
It's good to try to
right.
be.
When I had the Greek omelet, it was sensational. And my daughter-in-law had French toast with all that stuff on it, and as hard as it hurts being nice to him, but it was, and the prices were really reasonable.
Oh yeah, I used to go to Theo's, but then I fell out with Joe. I didn't realize Joe goes through cycles. I think it was Kathy Sullivan, who used to be the head of the New Hampshire Democrat Party. I was saying something about Joe. She just laughed at me. Says, "Don't you know he's your friend for 2 years, and then now he's going to be your bitter enemy for 2 years. And if you wait long enough, he'll be your friend again." And that's something that on the board of aldermen.
They're all friends, and they all hate each other.
But they all know each other. They go back to childhood with each other. And if you're dealing with not even a high school clique, you're dealing with we had junior high school. What was that, 7th and 8th grade?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And you're dealing with these people and think, haven't they ever gotten out of? First I thought it was high school. Now I realize it's like 7th and 8th grade.
And they re-elect.
It's crazy.
And they don't,
And what can you do if you were on the board? I mean, how much can you do?
You know what they would use on me? Well, he's a psychic, so he should know how everything is coming out. You know what I'm saying? And,
We can make book on
hey,
them.
there you go. But I wish they could. I would love to see all the aldermen and the mayor all work cohesively.
That's not
It's never
democracy.
going to happen.
That's not
No,
democracy.
and and I know. I think Ted Gassett did a great job, and then towards the end, I was.
Yeah, that's because
Let down.
Ted had a very forceful personality.
Oh, yeah.
He did everything he could to
Yeah.
keep people in line.
Yeah. And towards the end, he could care less one way or the other,
Yeah,
because he knew he was leaving, And we got to get people who will fight for the community.
Yeah, when you're dealing with people, but that's true of politics. I remember Washington in the early 80s. They'd say, that's the congressman from McDonnell Douglas. That's the congressman. We could use like BAE, although we don't really have one in that respect. They represent interests. There are developers here who are like the kings of the city. And I know people that go and ask things, go in front of the board, and then with goodwill, and then nothing ever happens.
I would think that at least once a month. Mary tells it like it is, but she goes to the alderman, don't you, Mary?
No, I do.
Just like Glenn does. But
I hear Glenn really had
he
a
blasted.
sidewinder speech. Somebody said, "Did you write his speech?" Why would I have to write a speech for Glenn?
No, he can do his own.
Oh yeah, he was.
He gets a little excitable, but he can write his own. I would think that they would once a month. They have it, every 2 weeks they have a meeting?
Yeah.
2 weeks.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And they would have to have, a question and answer. If we ask, John, as our alderman,
I'm thinking they just lie to you.
what are we going to do about education? You keep passing the buck. What do you people have for an answer?
But see, Norm, when they did have the board of the school committee, only 3 people came. Here is $170 million. It's like, I believe what George Carlin once said. He said that politicians reflect the people of the society. We're the ones who elect them. And why aren't the people there talking? Why don't more people say anything?
Do you think the aldermen listen?
No. They're only going to listen to you if you go in front of the board, if they've asked you to be there and speak to an issue.
Yeah.
They may actually make fun of people that
Yeah.
come.
There you go.
And that's it.
You're right, 'cause I caught him, and I went back at him.
Yeah. It's not that they're bad or anything, but they're hit if you were an alderman, you'd be hit by everybody. Everybody's asking you to do something. Everybody wants money. And everybody wants something.
We're
And-
very fortunate. I'm very fortunate. I have a great alderman on mine, Bill Berry.
Yeah.
I think he and I work
He
together.
cares.
He
Yeah.
really does. So even though I'm an independent or a Republican, I don't care. Bill Berry. See, that's what I love about America. You know, we should vote for whoever we want to. However, if you
We can and we can.
if it counts.
I often think when I got back to New Hampshire in 2010, I figured, wow, New Hampshire with 400 people in the general court, even in California where there's only 80 state representatives and they're paid like $100,000 a year, they've got offices and they are not as powerful as a congressman, but almost. They have real power, and they actually had third parties, like a Green Party would be able to get in. And when I got here, I figured it'd be like in Vermont. I knew about Vermont. There's 150, and they've got like 3, with the Democrats, there's 2 left-wing parties, like the people associated with Bernie, and they can go into a coalition, and they have a coalition. So I figured I'd get here. Well, there'd be libertarians, there'd be progressives. No, it's just Democrat and Republican. And then you find out why. It's 10 times harder for a third party to be recognized here than in California. 10 times harder.
Yeah. What I feel again, and even Glenn's on the same side, if you're an independent, you can't go vote in the primary. I think that's a violation of our rights.
But you can, if you register.
But you have to register as a
declare
Republican.
that day.
Yeah, but see, you shouldn't have to do that.
Because I voted in 2012, the primary for John Huntsman. So for, was it 45 seconds I was a Republican? Well, for whatever time
Yeah.
I was a Republican,
Yeah.
and I voted for him. And so it was like a couple minutes.
But still, we
And
shouldn't
then
have to do
you
that.
can actually change your registration right there. Go
But-
back a memory.
One day I went in to vote, and somebody said I voted. I didn't really put on my shirt, and the guy said,
Ruins your leather.
"Yeah," and it said, "Well, you already voted." I go, "No, I haven't." "Well, you got it right here. You voted." I go, "No, I haven't." And she looks at me, and I said, "Would you look it up, please?" "Well, I suppose."
Oh, was that the day at Ward 10? You were
Yeah.
so mad?
Yeah, I raised
Remember that day?
I raised a lot of hell there.
Oh, they had your registration wrong.
Yeah.
Was that the
well,
day?
they claimed I voted, and I didn't. Okay, somebody put that on. And then another time I was blind. "Oh, we'll bring you over here to the handicap." I go, "No, I'm fine. I'll go over here." "Oh, no, we'll bring you." I go, "No, you're not going to, and we'll help you vote." I go, "No, and you won't." "Well, sure I will." I go, "No, and you won't. If you do it again, I will sue you, and I will sue whoever is the selectman at the time." But then they left me alone.
When R.J. Ouellette's won in his ward.
Yeah, oh God. You know, I like Glenn R.J. Ouellette.
Or is he running for it?
I
I
don't
can't
think he's
remember.
running yet.
He's not running for mayor this
No.
time. I think he's going to run for selectman because they upped the pay.
Yeah.
Joel Elber in 12 is a selectman, I
You
think.
know, or Alderman, one of the two.
No, Joe, he's a selectman.
Baines is
No, Joe Alderman.
A selectman, you know, they're the
And-
ones that
yeah.
are inside there.
and
You know,
there's one
Heidi
more
Hammers
that's
are.
all done.
She's number 2.
yeah, Heidi Hammers in 112. No,
There's the
110.
clerk and then the moderator.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't think that. You know, one of my biggest gripes, sir, is that when people are aldermen and they're also a state rep or a state senator, I'm sorry, I don't think they should be having 2 offices.
There, a lot of people feel that way, particularly an alderman is an alderman. An alderman's much more important than a state rep because the general court, it's a clown college. You know, it's
talking.
ridiculous
Yeah,
up there.
Keep talking about it right there.
Okay.
Asking questions. Put them on the spot.
Are you, Mary, you aren't a state rep, are you?
Huh?
Have you been a state rep?
Never.
How come?
I'm going to, though. I want to run next year.
Why not, you know? I mean, when I'm putting them down, that doesn't mean there's individuals up there. I would like to see constitutional reform. Have 150 people that are paid
Yeah.
and with some type where you can actually vote for who you want.
Yeah.
Because, you know, I've always been a Democrat, but I'm not always thrilled with them. And I'm not particularly thrilled with the New Hampshire Democratic Party. But I don't have a choice. You have to vote for one for the other.
Yeah.
The Libertarians are now not on the ballot anymore because they didn't meet the 5% threshold in the governor's race.
There ain't that many, is there, that runs?
I'm not sure. but they did get on the ballot, and they were in 2 election cycles.
Were they?
But the gubernatorial candidate didn't get enough votes.
I remember one year I didn't like who was running, and I put down Mickey Mouse.
Have you ever been to a recount? Mickey Mouse is on a couple ballots anytime you go to a recount. After all
I've done
these
it 'cause
years.
I didn't like who either way who was running, and I said, I'm not voting, but I will vote, and it says right in, so I put Mickey Mouse.
I always vote for, if I don't like somebody, I vote for somebody I know that would do a good job. But I wanted to pull a trick on Bill Barry, and it's not on my phone anymore. So I filled out the entire ballot and didn't put his name on it. And then I took a picture. But Bill assures me, because I have memory problems, that I never showed it to him. So, like, months later, I put the ballot up, like, because now we can take a picture of a ballot and put it up. And I voted for everybody. And there were, like, people, like, I wrote somebody's name in here or there. Like, I put Joel in for something that I didn't particularly like either one. And Bill Barry's name wasn't on it. So I'm wondering if I, under the right to know, I can go up to Concord, see Secretary of State Gardner, and go through it. Because I'm sure that I wrote his name and it was just a joke. But for some reason, he says that I never showed him the...
Sometimes, it doesn't always get what it's supposed to get. It
Well,
gets pushed in the corner somewhere.
Now Bill looks at me in a different way.
Does he?
I said that, at one time I thought there's a woman I knew was going to move in. He said, well, at least I'll have one vote there.
Maybe 2.
But, yeah, a joke that didn't go right. But politics, Norm, politics. It's an addiction. It's almost like drug addiction.
Yeah,
It
it
is.
is, because my son had never got into politics before, and myself now, and for some reason I find myself more and more into politics.
Oh.
It's like an addiction, like you
It's
just
an addiction.
said. By the way, I'd like to have you on once a month
If I'm here.
if you're here. Well, where are you going to be?
Oh, I need a break. Remember, I was going to California.
Yeah. Well, when you can,
Okay.
we'll put it that way. Because you and I kind of like politically, we're both we're not afraid to stand up to people.
Well, getting back to the homeless, if you want to.
Yeah.
Uh,
I think
Something
you make a
has
good
to be
advocate.
done. But one of the problems is there's all these agencies that just mushroom up. And, there goes the tax dollars. They're going to go here, there. The federal money's going to go here, there. And then you look who's in it. It's like ex-politicians or people that are related to either politicians or developers. So much money just leaks out. It's like instead of having a bucket, you have like an old-fashioned sieve for flour.
Right.
Here you go. And all the...
Yep.
Yeah, it's the money.
How much action goes to the homeless people? To me, the homeless people should be supporting the ones that are on the streets.
Yeah, there are things you could do, but they're not. There's no. Yeah.
And then they want to put a new executive for the homeless people.
Is it an executive? I can't really figure out what it is.
I can't think. I don't remember one of them, but if someone who's he or she is going to do this for $100,000 a year.
You mean inside the city government?
Yeah,
Yeah.
they got to start a new board.
Why can't they find somebody like there was a great guy, Gray Chenoweth, who almost beat Ted for executive council.
Yeah.
There's somebody that's involved in the community. He's young. He's pretty active. He's independent. He doesn't come from like the old stuff. You could say, why can't somebody like that, like somebody doesn't need like a. Because I guess he's independently wealthy. I don't know really. Because he was with Dine and Jeremy Hitchcock. That they could do something,
Well, I also
instead of
think
another
that-
bureaucrat.
I also think maybe that how about someone who was homeless and had brought themselves up to a good position to show the people that they can do it with the experience behind them?
Oh, nobody's going to trust that person. They're
Of
not
course
part
not.
of. They're not part of the
Bureaucracy.
in group.
Yeah.
All
It's all collects.
Well, yeah, even the people that are going at each other. There's something Joe Lavassa told me once about Rich Girard. He says Gatsis uses him to keep people in line because he will start harassing you, on his show or when he had the radio show, and it's unpleasant. Even for me, who's been through it before, when suddenly, he has a new group of people to harass you. And it's effective because it's not just you. You have to deal with people's, your wives or your husband or your children are seeing you attack. And when it's so brutal. Of course, now then Joe was on the outside, and now he attacks people.
Oh, he's vicious.
Well, the stuff about Glenn told me that the person he's claiming was a drug addict was just somebody with epilepsy.
Yeah.
And he's making up all these stories. And maybe this will,
Well, that's like the first time Glenn was running for mayor. They got on to the gay thing there and how
Right.
it was just garbage. We know who did it, but I won't say because I
Yeah,
can't
I know.
prove it.
Glenn
I'm not
told
going
me
to
about
lie.
it,
And it's sad that people. I don't care whether you're running for Senate. I don't care if you're running for Congress. How sad it is that they have to find, whether you're Republican or Democrat, how you have to find the smut on people.
Well, one thing, I won't mention somebody's name. Suddenly, Glenn's telling me, somebody's asking me, because he used to have the Queen City Examiner,
Right.
to look for a letter I wrote advocating murder. And I'm saying, Glenn, first of all, I would never write such a letter, and he knew it too. And I never wrote to you. I only found out about that you had the Queen City Examiner after I renamed my show the Queen City Chronicles. Then he's bringing it back, so that's why I changed my name back to Ward 13 on my show. And it says, I never remember seeing your stuff, but here's stuff. And just putting that out, amongst people, it's like Gerard was somebody on the school board says Gerard's saying that you're stalking him. Why would I stalk him? But he's lied about me all sorts of ways, and there's a difference between him and Joe. I think Rich just doesn't know. Joe is
vicious.
Well, a former mayoral candidate explained who he was, because I was just like relatively new. I didn't get into politics till 2013, where I kind of got dragged in because somebody we both like, he was being attacked viciously by somebody I just mentioned, and somebody who knew me says, well, if somebody's harassing you, you need John Hopwood, because then I'll come and say something. And then all of a sudden, everything's coming at me. And I couldn't believe the stuff coming at me. But, and here's the thing. That Board of Aldermen could stop it. They could stop using shows to lie, to libel. Because when we're here, we have our rights. We just can't do pornography or F-bomb. Or
Well, actually, you can do pornography after midnight.
Except we don't do it. And, geez, just imagine if the old Amsterdam would be on after midnight. But they straighten their act out. But they're considered, an elected official is a city employee. There's an actual word for it.
Right.
And the Board of Aldermen could stop all the mishigas, all the craziness.
And they should be stopped.
Right.
The board of directors for the TV station, they're all mayors.
Right. And their hands, they've got to do by the lawyer and the First Amendment what you can do. But these guys revealing.
Not all.
They've revealed stuff about the.
We just got a comment, not all.
I think Dave Wibby's on, but he was the chairman of the board. And then he was on the school board. But
You're right, not all of them are bad. They've got some good ones on there.
Yeah, but they act in a certain way.
Would speak more out.
There's only so much you can do. God bless Danny O'Neill, but I think his time as chairman of the board should be over.
Well, he claimed if he moved out, if he did not get elected, he'll move out of town. So don't elect him. Do you remember when?
That seems to be things that happen to every.
Yeah.
I get mad.
Remember what the name? Pat Sullivan. And that one tree he took.
Is his name Sullivan?
Yeah, he took Pat Long. Pat Long beat him.
Right. He had a problem with Joe Lavassa.
Yeah, and I went and I said.
That's right. Yeah.
So I said to him, I said, "You're going to run for mayor, or you're going to go out in the back room and have a temper tantrum again."
Well, he's an emotional person. When the person that introduced me to Bill Barry introduced me to him, says, "Oh, you guys are a lot alike." I think too much. There's an Irishman that's very volatile, that likes to fight too.
And so, he said,
the Irish, yes.
So he came back.
I think I could do a little more like Germanic blood or something. Like cut.
And he come back. He made a comment back on. I made a comment.
Peter
on
Sullivan. That's right.
Peter. That's it.
Yeah.
And he came back. He said, "You must be working with Joe Kelly Lavassa." I go, "No, I'm not. I don't even care for him,
He got so mad at me once that we weren't friends for a long time because Joe and I were working on something against Gatsis. Remember when Joe and Keith?
Yeah, they're all again. I love it. They're all first minute they're all together, next minute they hate each other.
And then Peter was so mad, but I didn't know what Joe was like. I really didn't. I didn't know that what kind of person he was. But a former mayoral candidate explained to me, and I hadn't seen the movie. He's the Joker. He's the Joker, Heath Ledger in that one. And there's a speech that what was it? Michael Caine is the butler. What's the butler's name? I used to watch Adam West as
God,
how can I remember? Alfred.
There you go.
Alfred Pennypack or whatever his name is. And he said that at one time they were going after this thief in Siam, Thailand, that was stealing from the company these rubies. And then they found that he just threw them away. They meant nothing to him. And Bruce Wayne asks, why? And he says, there are just some people that want to see the city burn.
Right.
And that's what I was told Joe Lavassa was like. I actually wrote something about that, which I have in a draft, because I never forgot that. And they want to see the city burn.
I think Joe's going to eventually run for mayor.
Joe wants desperately to be mayor.
Right.
If Joe was a Democrat, he could have been elected mayor.
Really, very easily.
But he would have had to have reined himself in because
I mean,
the Republicans are not going to go with somebody like that. Because, whatever Ted Gatsis was, he was a pragmatic person that, the business.
I in all that we say, I won't say Joe is fighting. He believes in the city.
I think that he loves the city in his bizarre way. But it is a bizarre point of view.
But he wants to do what's best for the city.
But see, that's the problem with Joe. And
back.
these are just opinions. Yeah. And he knows he can't sue me because they have nothing to sue, but to recover. But
we're not saying that doctorial anyways.
I think that he might mistake what he wants for what the city wants, which is a common thing. Politicians. The ego takes over, and then they become the city, rather, and they lose their connection with the people.
The way he puts these things on about Mayor Joyce Craig is horrible.
Yeah, because, when I knew him, he talked about how strong she was, how behind the scenes, that she got things done, that she was steely and everything. And then she became the person in authority. Right. Because I think with Joe, and this is just a supposition, this is just an opinion, I'm not a psychologist, he had, what do they call it in an adolescent? Oppositional defiance disorder. I have some of that. But, like the police, he just, now she's the mayor, so he's against her. With Gatsis, he was so against Ted Gatsis.
Well, wasn't it amazing? He really, first he started out, then all of a sudden he went, wow.
Well, they got brought in because Gatsis, after the 64 vote election, sorely was in need of some new allies. And, because,
You know who I actually was that Patrick Arnold when he was running for mayor? You remember him? He was from your ward. He ran one time he was an alderman for a while.
He was an alderman from 3, wasn't he? Or was it 2? 2?
No,
No, 12. 12. He was over there. And then he moved.
Yeah, okay. And he ran for an alderman, he ran for mayor. He lost by a very little margin.
945 votes or something. I used to know exactly. It was less than 1,000.
Yeah. People are not voting like they used to anymore.
Nobody thought he would get any, because when our friend Chris Herbert ran, he was wiped out. He was wiped out. I was talking, somebody told me, oh, he's a Republican. So I don't usually vote for Republicans. And I'd figure, well, why bother to vote? I probably wrote my friend Gary Hamer in, who's married to Heidi, just for the hell of it.
Heidi,
but so I probably just wrote the name in. And then Mark Hayward says, oh, you and Chris Herbert, he's a liberal Republican before. Now he's a Democrat. And like an ex-alcoholic that's going to teach you all about the joys of sobriety, he has to teach you all about the joys of being a Democrat, which I find very irritating. I love Chris, but I've been a Democrat since I was 18.
Right.
You don't have to tell me.
Actually, I invited him on my show, and he didn't make it.
Well,
So I got to re-invite him.
Chris is a nerd. He
know
cares about certain things.
He doesn't like elderly people, though. He made some pretty bad accusations about elderly.
I don't think that it's not that he dislikes the people, because, of course, he took care of his mother-in-law, who just recently
said
passed.
that, if they couldn't afford it, then they should get rid of that and move somewhere else.
Which, of course, is appalling. Yeah. I think that what he's saying is misguided, because he's focused. It's somebody that can't see the forest but for the trees. He wants to free up the housing so he can tax it more, which, first of all, people are getting overtaxed anyways on property taxes, but we won't go into that.
Oh, yeah.
And secondly, elderly people are part of a community, and they're a very stabilizing part of a community.
We're the ones who brought it, If we didn't, what would happen if it didn't happen? Because people are not coming in here in droves like everybody thought they would. And when they got that new, BAE or EAB or whatever.
Yeah, BAE. I hear, and you hear so much stuff, that because of Ted's overbearing personality, let's put it that way, BAE wouldn't expand into Manchester.
Right.
Because everybody tells me stuff. Glenn is one of the best people to know about things going on, but even he can occasionally get it wrong. But they told me BAE wouldn't come here because of his less than, let's just say, felicitous personality.
Right.
And then Joyce comes and suddenly they're here.
Yeah.
But see, that's finally the Wazoric Bridge will pay off.
Right.
Because I guess that was there.
Right.
To bring in people so they could go in there. But the development is going to be in Litchfield, my father's hometown, which suddenly they're going to have widened to Hudson and Nashua. So people, which is BAE. Yeah. BAE is Nashua. My father sold his, was it Simmons Precision stock, which is BAE, so I could go to college.
By the way, what part of the military were you in?
Army.
How long?
4 years and 2 months.
Thank you, sir. And
Not a sir, sergeant.
That's okay, right?
That's right.
When I was my caregiver for my father, he looked at me and says, "You've got the soul of a sergeant."
Would you go back in today?
With my back. I slept out for the homeless people, and I knew I didn't have to, but I knew I had to. My back is killing me.
Yeah. Well, you know what? What difference started way back when? I know, wasn't it when Baines was in the office?
I wasn't here when Baines. Okay. When I got here, Ginto was mayor. Because I was writing for Yahoo News, so I would occasionally write about it. Because he was a congressman. Yeah. Oh, so he wasn't the mayor. Gatsis was always mayor. The last mayor I remember was Stanton.
Do you know who it was, man, that started
it?
Here's a question, folks. Who started that fundraiser for the homeless? Which mayor was it? If you know, give us a call in at 640-3091.
Bob Shaw? I remember him.
Oh, no.
Bob Shaw. Before, after Bob Shaw, who was that?
I don't know. It was,
I know that it was...
I keep thinking about Baines. Could be wrong.
Wazoric and Gerard worked on the thing that brought the... what do you call them? In World War II, they'd been displaced people.
Yeah.
Called political refugees
right.
now. And there was all this money that came with it at the beginning. Now that I watch Joyce and all the stuff she's going through, I have much more sympathy for Ted Gatsis. Yeah. I mean, being the mayor of a city and having all this stuff that you have to handle must drive you crazy.
They raised over $250,000 for this.
So this was homeless.
Right. Yeah.
Well,
but where's it going?
Well, the stuff we raised for the kids goes to that organization, which if you get if there's another one like Alfred's name that's just I was just over there saying you should come on the show. What are they called? Waypoint. Waypoint.
Right. Okay. I invited the one who was in charge of the Verizon and Family Outfitters in the Family Transition. No response. I invited the mayor. No response.
Joyce always seems to be camera shy, because like Ted would always go on.
He came on my show one time.
Ted, I'd love to see that. It's got to be in the archives, right? Ted would always go on the radio with Gerard, who, of course, when
Ted loved the publicity.
Right, but Joyce seems to doesn't like publicity. She seems to be shy when it comes to that.
She actually heard herself in the black community.
What?
They had a show here with the black just before I came on, and they went like the black community show, and I'd been on it.
Was she on that?
Then she refused to come on when she was running for candidate. She agreed to come on, and she never came on.
Yeah, she didn't come on a lot of stuff, but I always figured
if you're not gonna do it, then tell me you're not gonna. That hurts you politically.
I think she should, as somebody that's out there, and you are, and it's like when I was here with Joe. The first shows I went on with Amsterdam, I first went on Joe Lavasser's show, and people recognize you. But once I went on Amsterdam, that show was, everybody recognized you. But those were like two popular shows. I don't remember when I first went on you. It was after that, a long time ago. And Joe said, "Oh, you're a natural. Get your own TV show," which I always thought I was going to get all these girls running after me. It didn't happen, but maybe it's my material. But and then the lighting makes me look worse than bald.
Right. When this month is my 19th year.
Wow.
Yep, you are the king.
Yeah, and I have a lot of fun with it.
Yeah.
I don't have a lot. I don't know if I have a lot of viewers or not, but I think I do. But on Facebook, I have on the internet, I get a lot of them. And I'll have people come, "Whoa, we love your show." And I had one guy tell me I was a retard. I said, "Well, thank you."
Well, who hasn't heard that? I've heard worse than that, Norm.
Oh yeah, but
I'm going around advocating murder, right?
Yeah, but at least they're watching the show.
Yeah, but when I watch Joyce, it seems like
they're watching it, so
she might be a little nervous about being with people. Yeah. I know that she was on the morning show with Joel and Peter a couple of times, and she could relax because Peter's very good at interviewing. He's like a master.
Peter's fixed up for her.
And Peter will never come out of left field or anything. No. And then Joel, you had I always said Dean Martin and Jerry Lewis. They were such a great team. And then they broke up, like Dean Martin and Jerry Lewis.
Florida?
Well, I can't really talk about it, but no. Joel had, there was a lot of things that were going on in his life. And,
he was a great guy.
Oh, I love Joel. We're trying to get him and Mike Doyle to do a sports show. But I guess Joel's had his fill right now. Because everybody, where's Joel? They always ask me about Joel. But I guess she could be relaxed with him. Yeah. It's like, what was it? Nick Willard would come on. And, Peter's asking him the questions. But then you have Joel. The stuff that comes out of Joel's mouth. And Nick asked them afterwards, "That's an act, right?" With Joel. So, yeah, it's an act.
I invited Nick Willard. Funny. I invited Willard because he's with the...
he's the marshal now.
Right. And I invited him. And then there was another one that came on your show and stuff. For some reason, these people fear me.
Well, it's like... what was great about Mr. Baseball was... I could always rely on him like a true friend. Yeah. After I got sued, nobody would come on the show. But I always had Mr. Baseball there. And there are things I could...
Sued?
When Gatzis hit me with a lawsuit.
Oh, yeah.
People are afraid. And you couldn't get anybody on the show, but he was always there. And it actually affected him, too, in ways that I can't talk about. But he's just there like a stalwart friend. And we both loved baseball, and he was like the master. And then he was going to come on again after he was sick. After like 3 or 4 months. Because Joel and I sat in Joel's house with a camera and we called him. We had to bleep a lot out of that one, because we were...
I love the challenges. Matt and I one time were talking about blow-up dolls.
Can we do stuff like that here?
Well, yeah, you can technically.
If you do it with good taste.
That's what we did, And Matt and I would say, "Well, sit here and behave yourself," or something. Somebody called.
Oh, you had the doll with you?
No, we were going to. We pretended we did.
Matt might have been Matt's girlfriend, right?
Yeah. And then Matt would tell people he didn't. He was sitting there with no pants on, no underwear on. People believed it.
Yeah.
And then somebody called the mayor's office.
Yeah, Ted kept an eye on Ted kept an eye on everything that happened in the city. If you used too many pencils, he knew about it.
Well, they couldn't do anything because we wouldn't say anything. They're derogatorial. And I said, I understand that you people have a complaint about my show. So, oh yeah, the one that has the blow-up doll.
Yeah, and there is no doll, but they believe that it's there. It's very strange about this stuff because Matt and I talk about stuff because we do shtick. And then we started realizing satire. We both love satire, but we realized people are believing it.
Yeah.
Even if you use funny voices, or even you're saying this is a satire, they actually.
Well,
it's
we went going
strange,
around,
but-
in fact, we'll feel, and when saying someone could have an internal erection and be careful and will blow up inside, people
We'll have to
literally
remember
would
that
tell them to go and check it out.
Oh yeah, because the thing when you and then you put it back.
Right,
Yeah.
then when
Not
Tubman
about
go-
a doll, but
no,
like, remember
but,
we
you
had
know,
beach balls.
and things like that. So we had to stop doing that. And I found out that people didn't like it. And I say, hey, all kids hang them up upside down and beat on them once a day, But people
Remember the doll
literally.
you used to punch?
Yeah. Bozo.
Bozo, yeah.
Yeah, I had one of those. Did you?
Yep.
In Japan, they have them in corporations,
Yeah.
and they have like the boss on it. And you can go hit
Yeah,
it.
And so I said, well, we can't do that anymore. And Matt, everybody thought when Matt, it was time for Matt and I to go our own ways. And then the following week, I got a real good co-host as well.
Right.
And I missed her too. Now we got married here. If I don't behave, she hits me all the time.
Well, she takes care of you.
Yeah, she smacks me.
You don't have to. Gotta keep them in
And
line.
people believe that stuff. You know what I'm saying? So I have to be careful how I word things.
Yeah, Matt and I talk about stuff, and then Matt wanted to do the April 1st show about soft jazz. Matt, if I'm on there, nobody's going to, we already know it's April 1st, and I could take it off into, or saying, we could do the thing that white jazz, because there were a lot of great white jazz players, and it
Absolutely.
kind of got, because in the 60s and 70s, the jazz I prefer is by African American performers like Miles Davis and everything. But I'm thinking, if we start talking about that, people will say we're racist because we would be joking about it, or
You gotta be
then you
careful.
could bring it around. Because the irony about jazz was that it's African Americans using European instruments like the piano, and it's European Americans using African instruments. And the great irony was, one of the things that African Americans could always be within their community, even in segregation, you can be a
I'll
doctor,
be back.
a lawyer in your community. You could be a teacher, a music teacher. If you're in Los Angeles and places, African Americans in big cities always are like the music directors and stuff. But in the early day, the first 40, 50 years of jazz, when you're not thinking about people like Satchmo, Louis Armstrong, who was his
I
own
loved
thing.
him.
Yeah, he's bigger than anything. But they were educated in conservatories. So all these, I think Duke Ellington too, they had this classical music background and everything. But people like Benny Goodman, they were poor Jews. There were a lot of Jews. And they came up, where this music was alive to them. And the educated blacks would say at the time, they're meeting the whites. And of course, there was a lot of strictures about not being able to play together. Benny Goodman broke that with Lionel Hampton. And Paul Whiteman, who was the king of jazz in the 30s, they wouldn't allow him to have African American jazz players. So he tried to support them in other ways. But the better educated African Americans would say how uncouth these white players are, because they came from slums and everything, and were they're educated people. So it's when you look into all this stuff, it's much more a fascinating story. But there's subtleties there that it's much easier to black, white, antagonism, this,
I get
ripped
upset
off,
when they
or
talk
that.
about like Al Jolson, because that. And people
funny.
get upset now, saying, and nobody considered
But that was it. Sophie Tucker, who's Jewish, I only know her because I had a crush on, who was in the Partridge Family? She was in Oklahoma. Shirley Jones.
Yeah.
And she mentioned Sophie Tucker on a show. Who the hell is that? But I never forgot. She was a great Jewish-American singer, and the last of the Red Hot Mamas, she sang jazz, and they called her a coon shouter. Even mentioning something like that, you're using that word. But that was used. That's a person that's
See, today,
singing African-American influenced stuff. And when Matt and I were talking about it, and I felt ghastly that Monday because my back was hurting, it'd be better just to, do it in a softer way. Because people are listening in, and you don't know what they're thinking. Like Mike Doyle's a big Trump fan, and he would be saying, "Oh, you Hopwood, Trump never did anything good." And I say, "But no, I agree with him on this, that, and the other thing." And he never hears that. People hear what they want to hear. So.
Absolutely. That's why, when I have people come on, like with you and I,
Yeah.
see, you and I tell it like it is.
And a politician can't go onto a show where somebody might ask them a question out of left field, which I've had. I remember Gray Chenoweth being on my show, who ran against Ted Getz. He was running for executive council.
You didn't run away.
No.
For the
I wanted to
nomination.
listen to you guys.
My brother was back visiting. He says, I watched your show. You were horrible to him. Now, there's the sibling rivalry. He's the older brother. You were horrible, horrible. And I said, and I remember asking me a couple questions. You could see him reacting, but he proved himself. And I said, well, guy, he's coming on the show again. And he did. But, you ask people questions. But I think now that we're talking about this, because you and I might understand, and we're talking to them, but the people out there, they're going to hear what they want.
Right, and that, no matter what you say, you can, no matter how you say. I enjoy. You know who I like coming on is Ross Terrell.
I love Ross.
He has been on, and he's a fighter for the kids.
I think he would have been a great vice chair of the school board.
Right.
I think he'd be perfect, but I'm not going to say anything about Art Bulger because he's a fellow veteran. He's done so much.
No comment on him.
But Art is another person that can't see the forest for the trees.
Right. See, a lot of the people that are in public office today, Bill Shea.
Billy is long overdue for retirement.
Lou D'Alessandro.
I love Lou.
I do too, but still, I really think there should be an age limit.
Well, Bill Cashno, he retired at 65. Right. His personal opinion was, when you're 65, there's a reason there's a retirement age. Because you can step back and still do things, you'll be on this. But you just don't. He thinks that there's what's Billy doing it in his 80s on there? How can you keep up?
He fell asleep at one of the meetings.
When I first saw him on the board, he didn't say anything until the day they censured Lavasser, and suddenly he came alive. Throw this guy off. I'll never forget that.
Mike, what was his name? Mike.
Which one?
No, he was Spanish.
Oh, Mike. I know Mike Lopez. I remember when he was 14.
I like this guy.
Oh, he was our Ward. No, he was never Ward 10's alderman.
No, 11. Was it?
No, he was alderman at large, and then Lavasser beat him. One thing they should do is I want to see there's a flagpole over at least 2 poles. Something should be named after Mike because nobody did more for veterans than Mike. He's one of the hardest working people.
He's a retired military.
Yeah, and then he did his time as a letter carrier too.
Really a great guy.
Yeah, I might go see him tonight because they have over at the Sweeney Post.
Yeah.
Because the Hibernians meet on Wednesday, and I have a friend over there.
And what's the name of that club that he belongs to up on
Rayfield Club?
Yeah, no, up on Putnam Street.
Jeez, there's so many clubs. Well, there's the Sweeney Post, which is
I know
for the
one
veterans.
You're talking about the bottom of the
Alpine.
hill. Alpine. Yeah.
Oh, that's Norm Gamache. He's been the president since.
He's a member there at the Alpine Club.
Yeah, those guys, they're a solid group
years
of
ago,
people.
I belonged to them.
Whenever Norm might be facing a challenge, they come out for him.
I think they really ought to. Yeah, I'd like to see Russ Ouellette get reelected, to be honest.
I don't know. I like Norm Gamache.
Yeah, but he's never there.
He is.
He is
Norm just doesn't talk much.
He's just always in Florida.
Norm?
Yeah.
Norm is, from the old generation of firemen when that was sometimes his back.
Yeah.
I shouldn't be talking about it because that's personal.
Yeah.
But, that was a tough job.
Yeah.
He goes back. That's 4 generations in his family.
See, that's another thing I have a problem with is if someone is on the alderman and it comes for the fireman for a pay raise or whatever, I always think the people that were former firefighters should exclude themselves for that.
Well, I've done extensive stuff in that in the research, and you could do 3 hours of that. I have hundreds of pages of it because traditionally Manchester in 2 charter commissions never let that go by. Where in Nashua and Concord it was spelled out. Concord it was spelled out since the 40s. Then they got rid of it. And Nashua's put it in where it's very specific. Geez, even Lewiston, Maine, which I don't know if you know Lewiston.
Oh, yeah.
There's a famous saying about Lewiston, Maine, but I won't bring it up, comparing it to Manchester. Yeah. But they have a code of conduct for the aldermen. They have their own whistleblower law. I was just doing some research. In 2015, I was trying to get a municipal whistleblower law, and our state whistleblower law is nothing. if there was a whistleblower law, the problems that led to the sexual violence in our schools and the problems that a certain principal had whose lawsuit is going on, which I find amazing that it's happened and that the people are just pretending it didn't
Well,
happen.
look what happened when Gasser was a mayor and they had that cover up of that 18-year-old or 17-year-old girl that was raped by a guy.
Well, I was 14 years old.
14
That's
years
what I
old.
got sued over. Yeah. But for the last, since I think it's November of 2016, I might have the date wrong, for over 2 years, the U.S. Department of Education has been investigating the city of Manchester for sexual violence in our schools. That is a higher category than assault, because I was told there are other rapes that are being covered up.
Well, what I hear about Central High School, it's pretty rough.
There are gangs, too. There are gangs, but nobody wants to do it, because Danny O'Neill's nephew is in West trying to help the kids, and he's talking about there's a girl gang there. But people... Oh, we don't want to ruin our brand. Right. Well, because if there's rape or this or that, they'll just cover it up. Yeah. And one thing I realized by following the case of the Webster Street School, so when I'm being sued about that cover-up, there's another cover-up going on at the same time. You know, I've talked to people, where's the police reports and everything? And I'm not going to talk about that right now because you're getting sued even when you have nothing. They'll go after you to shut you up. And I don't want to get you in any jeopardy because... This is it. But why aren't people talking about that? They were supposed to be, when that happened in September 25th, 2017, that was after the revelations about this rape. Remember, there was all sorts of things that were supposed to, the people were supposed to be told. Like, they had all, and it just went by the wayside.
Well, over McLaughlin Street School, there's this girl, the two boys from some boy or someone that beat the heck out of her, broke her jaw and all that stuff.
Oh my God.
And they literally got it. And the principal covered it up.
Yeah, but the principal's covered up because you're part of a hierarchy.
Right. And then when my granddaughter...
There's no whistleblower. There's no whistleblower protections in the state of New Hampshire, which I find shocking because whistleblower law actually saves a taxpayer money. And Matt and I talk about, why aren't Republicans for this? Because in the Congressional Congress, the Congressional Whistleblower Delegation is mosly Republicans. Because they want to save money.
And my granddaughter, she was bullied a lot in school. She admitted when she did something. She wasn't bashful, but then three of them beat her up, and she fought back and said she did. She's the only one that got in trouble over it.
Yeah, because you got three witnesses against one.
Yeah, and they said we know they were involved, but we can't do anything about it.
There is a lot of legal issues about that because in Boyan Vargas's last plays, I talked to him just before he left. But, that's confidence. I bet you never thought after leaving Rochester, which was like a hellhole, that you'd come here and you probably thought you was going to be relaxing or whatever. And he jumps in here and he finds out about all this stuff. Because he had handled a rape, too. Right. He had handled a rape 3 weeks before our rape that got covered up. And when one day he informed the entire community, he really... and he was hated by everybody there. All the different factions hated him. Everybody hates him because he's trying to do his job and stuff. And then he gets here and I think...
I like that last superintendent.
I think, holy, mother of pearl, what have I got myself into? Because it's, it's like both my parents knew Grace Metalius when they were teenagers.
Actually, Grace Metalius is a very good friend of mine.
Oh, we'll have to talk about that.
Right. We went to, she used to go to the Ron Gunn, it's a club in Laconia. She would have a couple of, she'd wear her boots that are black and red.
So you knew her in the 60s before she died.
Yeah. I read one of her books.
I can tell you.
Her manager, actually.
We can't talk about it on TV. But
her manager screwed out of a lot of money.
Oh, Jesus.
I couldn't
see
how
much money she lost.
Oh, yeah. Millions.
It's funny. My father had known her when they were teenagers, just before he went off. Him and George went off to World War II. And she was living on 3rd Street in the Squag, which was Squag. And my mother knew, I asked my mother about her. I said, what do you remember? I says, well, she was kind of a dumpy broad, and she drank too much. Because, there's the women. And she was 2 years older than him. And they used to make, what my father called it poot. It was a homemade ouzo. They were drinking that. And, but, the whole thing about a town, because that was based on a real... a girl was being molested by either the father or stepfather, killed him. That was in Wilmington Ironworks. Yeah. And nobody talks about anything. And I just think about that now. But at the end of my life, my father's business partner from when I was a kid they were talking to each other. He says, "Oh yeah, I slept with Grace back when she was up in Winnipesaukee." My father looked up and says, "Oh, you didn't? You're a liar." They'd known each other since they were kids, like at West High School. Nobody would have slept with Grace at that time.
No.
But the things.
We loved her because she
Drank
said,
herself to death.
"Oh, isn't that sad?" Well,
At 39 years of age.
well, look at the manager from England that she had. And,
Yeah, that guy. So you knew these people.
yeah. And
Oh,
she'd
that's
come in,
fascinating.
we'd know she was in because she'd, "I'm here, set up the house."
Yeah, she went through hundreds of thousands of dollars.
Oh, yeah.
And the kids,
They
the
got
poor
nothing.
kids.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, that guy, that Englishman. They
Got it
they
all.
robbed his-
He wrote it up till he got it all. The ex-husband, he was a school teacher,
George, yeah.
George, and he was really a nice guy.
Yeah, my father liked him, but they both went off to war. But Grace they called her the Pandora in blue jeans. What a fascinating character.
Yeah, she was very interesting. I actually did a reading on her.
Don't kid her.
Yeah, I tried to warn her, but they don't listen.
No, I think they want to kill themselves. She drank herself.
She
to
couldn't
death.
handle the success.
Yeah, and we can talk about it on another show.
Yeah.
There's something analogous when you're writing to being liking. I would say there's two types of a way you can get power. The one to use like an Anglo-Irish term, Daemon, the demon, something like
Yeah.
an entity that's above you, like is mediating you. That power comes down to you, and like when you're writing or something, it's very powerful, but how can you control it? And that's the fear of always losing it.
See, I'm starting to write a book
Yeah.
about my journey into the spiritual world and stuff. But I had to get over the fact that once I write this book, that my life would end. So that was very strong. So I said, wait.
Well, that's true, because that's something when there's all sorts of stuff I can write about, and there are people that get affected by your writing and that. Yeah, that's another fear of that, because when you're writing, that's actually, books, it's all alive, and it's type of energy.
Well,
But
John, even though you're late, I want to thank you for coming on. I'm going to...
sorry for being
Oh,
late.
that's okay. Would it be easier for me to Facebook you to come on again? Or?
Yeah, we'll have to become Facebook friends. I always go through this
Oh,
thing
you
where I
are my
close my
friend.
Facebook
Yeah, okay,
site.
I'll do it again.
It gets down to like 3,
Yeah.
and then I go back to, I never get more than 40.
Yeah. So what I'm going to do is book you in again.
Okay.
And we can talk about any of the books you want to write about.
Julian Jane. This will explain a lot of things, Norm.
Okay.
The origin.
Are you an avid book reader?
Yeah. Yeah, I probably read. I don't think you can read too much books,
No.
but I'm getting to the point.
In the day of my drinking days, I used to
Ezra
make a
Pound.
lot of money writing books. I won't say the kind of books I wrote, but I wrote them.
Wow, everything was so remunerative.
Yeah.
Are you going to
dirty-
write about the 60s in
Yeah.
California?
Well, no, mine was about the raunchy, dirty books.
Aren't you?
Okay, and I would make a lot.
DBs,
of
they
money.
call them, dirty
Yeah.
books.
Yeah, and I made a lot of money, but I drank a lot.
Who's your
too.
publisher?
Me.
Oh, you did it. Did you do mail order?
I did. They come to my house, so that way I wouldn't get in trouble.
Right, because they always nailed you on the mailer. I used to be an expert, like on the First Amendment and all that
No,
stuff.
that First Amendment still violated is unbelievable. Well, anyway, Joe, thank you for coming
Okay.
on. My pleasure. And thank you
Great
once
to
again.
get
Thank
here.
you for serving. I will probably have you on next month if you're available.
Sure.
Okay.
Pick a day, and I have to with me every day is
I'll
like
invite
I don't
you a
even know
couple-
what day it is
Yeah,
or time.
I'll have to. I'll ride you a couple days before.
Yeah, and the day of it really
Yeah,
helps.
too,
But all of a
too.
sudden I get you mean it's 4:00.
Yeah. And
I do
Mary,
the same
once again-
thing. I have to
Mary,
remind
thank you for
myself.
being a co-host
Oh,
again.
thank you.
Stop hitting me in the. You see that, folks? She always hits me in the
Yeah,
head.
another one.
Yeah.
And to Mr. Baseball, Mr. Baseball is up in heaven
let's say it quick.
arguing with Casey
Yeah,
Stengel.
I'm sorry to hear. What was his name again?
John Weeks.
John
But I always
Weeks.
call him Mr. Baseball.
Baseball. Our condolences out to his family and to everyone there, and you too as well, Joe.
We're having a big on the 14th at Billy's Sports Bar. One last thing. Have a feel of that.
My condolences go out to the
There's
Stritch
truly
family.
energy in there.
All of a sudden, there's all these Buffalo nickels that are going around. Somebody's passed, and somebody's spending their
I got a
coin
few of
collection.
those.
That is from your friend there,
I thought about that.
the person that just passed.
Yeah. I figured it was a sign from
Right,
him.
and
But then when I got it at the market basket, the other person, I got one too.
You need to hang on to that, he's saying.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, everybody out there, remember each and every day, if you see someone, smile, shake their hand, let them know that you care, and remember, every day, you are the winner.